Welcome to SiftPop Weekly, the YouTube internet show that is also a recording of a podcast.
Yeah.
This probably the best way to say it.
Yeah.
We are glad to have you along with us today. I have it on my phone here.
How about you mute your phone,
Yeah,
Aaron?
well, it was sitting. I didn't even realize it was there until I saw our pretty faces.
What is this, amateur hour?
Yeah, absolutely.
It totally
100%
is.
amateur
I'm not
hour.
gonna lie, yeah.
Thank you for joining us for the live video portion of this, whether you're watching it as it happens live or after the fact. I've been looking through the chat, and they wondered because we were running a little bit late, which I'll explain here in a second. But they were wondering if we were having epic thumb wars, and that's why we were running a little bit late. And we were not, but we can do a thumb war. 1, 2, 3, 4. I declare thumb war. Go. I'm sorry. I have these super long thumbs that make it give me a little of an unfair advantage, and I apologize for that. Yeah. How long do I have? 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, I think that works. All right, there we go. We had the epic thumb war for you.
Yeah.
They're also excited to hear our Oscar nomination thoughts, which is great because we're going to be talking about some of that.
Yeah, we is.
Today, they're curious what we thought of Dolittle. Chesta says, I'm going to say Aaron thinks it was just okay and Andrew hated it. So we have an official guess.
Okay.
On that. And then someone with some pre-knowledge from my Twittering has an opinion about how I felt about it. So we've got that in there as well.
Nice.
Chesta, Scott, Edmund, and I can see others are watching as well. Thank you for hanging out with us. We're going to have a great time here. Now, I will say this is the part, if you have something to say to us directly in the chat.
Oh, yeah.
It's either here or at the end, because once we get into the podcast, we're just doing the recording of the podcast thing.
Yeah.
It looks like Aaron in the chat says would have liked J-Lo for Hustlers or Uncut Gems or Portrait of a Lady on Fire for literally anything. So they're already having their conversation on their thoughts for the Oscars.
Well, we'll get to ours for sure.
Sonic Screwdriver says Phil for Best Director.
Oh, yeah.
I think we can support that. Mm-hmm. Can we do a write-in vote?
I'm still waiting on that Phil for Eric to be trending.
For Little Mermaid?
Yeah.
Nice. So I'm excited to get into it. It's been a couple weeks since we've seen each other.
It's been a hot minute, man.
The reason
it's been a whole year.
We're running a little bit. That's right. It was last year.
Yeah.
The reason we're running a little bit late is new equipment and kind of getting that set up and working. And thanks to producer Phil and thanks to our amazing SiftPop members who made it possible to go with the new cameras. Hopefully this will look a little clearer for you than it has when we've done this in the past. We were using a blurry camera, I think, for the center camera, and we got some new 4K cameras that should do some good work.
I like to call it the Bigfoot camera.
That's right. Yes, exactly. And we're still working out some of those kinks. There may be a little bit of choppiness, a little bit of audio sync stuff going on.
A lower FPS than normal.
Yeah, so we're trying to figure some stuff out still, but we appreciate your patience, and hopefully this will be fun for you anyway. Evan says, somewhat let down by 1917. Maybe expectations were too high. That's possible. That happens, right? Where, you hear so many people saying, this is the best movie ever. This is incredible.
Yeah.
And then you go and you're like, yeah, this is good. You know, I've had that happen to me.
Oh, yeah.
So I think expectations can absolutely do that. I'm ready to get started if you are, my friend.
Oh, yeah.
Okie dokie. It's been a while. How do we do this? Do I just start, Phil?
Yeah.
Oh, I do it. We do another countdown. That's right. I love countdowns.
Do the Muse app.
That's right. I love countdowns. They're so fun. What you do is you count, but you do it backwards.
So where do you start?
Ooh, that's a good question.
Yeah.
You can start as high as you want.
I know.
How high should we start?
9.
All right, here we go. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5,
It's so
4,
weird.
3, 2. Live from a bunker in the heart of the Ozarks, a podcast that may not understand animals, but would settle for understanding Robert Downey Jr. It's SiftPop. Welcome to SiftPop Weekly. We're streaming live most weekends. Are available to download later in your podcast feed, unless, of course, you're a patron. Patrons get those perks. I'm your host, Aaron Dicer, and he's my co-host and pod boy for life, Andrew Ormsby.
Oh, hi.
And each week we'll chat about movies, TV, and whatever else from the pop culture universe is on our minds. We don't actually have Bad Boys for Life on the schedule for today.
No.
I did get a chance to see it.
Oh, yeah?
Did you happen to go out and see it?
No.
I almost kind of wish we had swapped them out a little bit just because it's getting some buzz,
Yeah.
you know? And it made like $65 million this weekend.
That's like a third of the budget of Dolittle.
It's true. That's true. I will say I can see why it's getting the buzz. I didn't really like the Bad Boys movies, the first couple of them.
Really? Is it the Michael Bayness of it all?
Yeah. And guess who didn't direct this one?
Michael Bay.
So I don't know. There's a lot to like about it. Maybe we'll chat about it at some future date. But yeah, I wanted to kind of throw that out there that I have seen it and actually would give it a little bit of a recommend.
Nice.
Yeah. So Will Smith, man, he's like making movies again.
I mean, when did he stop?
Well, I mean, he didn't stop, but he's had what, like 5 titles out in the last year or so? Like, it's crazy.
Has he oh,
I don't know.
I guess what is the spy movie?
Yeah, you've got Spies in Disguise
Spies
that
in
just
Disguise.
came out. You've got Aladdin.
Yeah.
You had Gemini Man.
Yeah.
And you've got this one. So at least 4, and there may be one I'm forgetting, but
And the
yeah.
guy's what, 50 something?
I think he's somewhere around there.
And he's still going strong, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He is a lot of fun.
He's
to watch
older
on
now
screen.
than Uncle Phil was when they made the show.
Don't, you're hurting me. Stop hurting me. Are you intentionally hurting me?
Yes.
We are going to talk about the Oscar nominations today.
Yes.
We're going to talk about the aforementioned Dolittle, not Dr. Dolittle, the movie
No.
just called Dolittle.
Were you surprised, like I was, to find out Dolittle spelt with 1 O?
I was.
Yeah.
That's mind-blowing to me that you brought this up because I wanted to talk about
it's
this.
Dolittle.
I literally wanted to talk. How is it spelled with 1 O?
Yeah.
If you were to look, and you know why it is, because it's literally supposed to mean
Dolittle.
But if it's a name,
Yeah.
Dolittle, it should be D-O-O.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's Dolittle.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm totally with you. I had that same exact thought.
Because when I kept typing it in, it's like, did you mean Dolittle? And I'm like, no, what is Dolittle? But yeah, mind blown.
Yeah, so that's
a Mandela effect right there.
that
I
is-
remember Dolittle being spelled with 2 O's from my childhood.
I think it was. I think they've recently changed it,
Yeah.
and we're all being punked.
yeah.
So we're going to talk a little bit about that, and of course we'll have a little bit of buried treasure at the end. But we like to kick it off with some Do We Care?
Every single week, I scour the internet to find out what is going on in the entertainment world. I pick some topics for us to discuss, and we must decide, do we care or not? We got 6 this week, man.
Whoa!
I know. We've been gone a while, and the last 2 that we didn't have Do We Care. So there's a lot of info to get caught up on.
So we're do-lottling.
We're
not
doing
do-littling.
Yeah,
we're doing lottling.
lottling. Yeah.
Something like that.
Number 1.
You got it.
Batman is joining the MCU, sort of. Christian Bale joins the cast of Thor: Love and Thunder
It's great.
in an unknown role.
I can't wait. I can't wait to see how he physically transforms and becomes another.
He's actually going to, extend his face out to become Beta Ray Bill or something. I have some predictions on who he's going to play.
Is he going to play either Love or Thunder?
Possibly, yeah.
Only Christian Bale could play Thunder. He'd figure it out. He'd
Yeah, he
figure
really
out
could.
how to actually act like Thunder.
Yeah. My first prediction is Beta Ray Bill. That he's going to be the voice of Beta Ray
Now
Bill.
I have no idea
Beta Ray
who
Bill,
that is or what that means, right?
Yeah,
like you're talking to somebody who
Yeah.
has like zero.
But there are people out there.
No, I know. I'm saying explain it to
So-
me for the people who are like me and don't know what that means.
So Beta Ray Bill is an alien. He kind of he's humanoid, but he has like this weird horse face, and he is the only other person in the universe worthy enough to wield Mjolnir.
Oh,
Yeah,
which we know is
Destroyed.
not true.
yeah.
We've seen
Cap.
Mjolnir. Yeah.
But yeah.
So
he
it's
is,
Sorry to Bother You, the comic book.
Yeah, exactly.
Sorry not to bother you.
Yeah.
What is that movie called? Anyways.
Sorry, not sorry.
Yeah, Sorry Not Sorry.
Yeah.
The comic book.
But yeah, that's my first prediction. Is he's going to voice Beta Ray Bill because he can do any voice. You know, he's not only a great actor, but he's also a great voice actor.
Yeah.
I mean, look at all the
Well, he just understands performance. He understands transformational performance.
Yeah, Howl's Moving Castle. You look at the Jungle Book that just came out. You know, he was great as Bagheera. You know, and I'm excited for this. So
Very nice.
my other predictions will be that he will either be Balder, which is Thor's actual brother, not Loki, you know, adopted brother, but Balder the Brave. I think that ship might have sailed though with the whole, you know, Thor's brother thing. You know, it's been so long now. It would be weird to introduce a brother.
Sure.
And
but if they had a race, you'd see a Boulder Dash.
Oh, snap, son. But my third prediction actually kind of leads into our second one. And
look at you, king of segues.
I know. And that is he's going to play Norman Osborn.
What?
Yeah.
Norman Osborn?
Number 2, Batman is joining the MCU, sort of.
Part 2.
Jared Leto's upcoming Sony supervillain film Morbius. Get it, Batman? Because he's a vampire.
Yeah.
So smart. I'm so smart.
It was a bit of a stretch, but I like it. I'm game.
Jared Leto's upcoming Sony supervillain film Morbius dropped a trailer. You didn't see it. While we were on break, so there are now major hints that the Sony universe might be merging with the MCU.
So, how do we feel about this? I'm excited.
I'm all for it.
I'm
man.
excited about the idea of the Venomverse or whatever you want to call it, becoming a part. And you know, I thought what I heard in the atmosphere was that J. Jonah Jameson, was possibly going to be in both of them.
Yeah,
played by the same person, and so I don't know. It makes sense, but if it's to be, it has to be part of the contract that happened behind closed doors. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's definitely something that they have talked about.
Yeah. Well, we also see Adrian Toomes, who was Michael Keaton's character in Homecoming.
Oh.
Vulture. He's in this.
Vulture is in it. Michael Keaton as Vulture is in this trailer. Well, then it's kind of a done deal then, right? Don't you have to say they're in the same universe
But
now?
here's the thing, though. Whenever they show, like, posters of Spider-Man and stuff, but it's not the Spider-Man we see. It's the Andrew Garfield Spider-Man in the posters and stuff. So it's confusing. Like, I don't know if this is them just saying, hey, let's mess with the fan base and just throw, are they, aren't they hints everywhere, you know? So...
Wow. And then the real trick is it's all going to tie into the Spider-Verse.
Yeah.
And Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire, they're all just going to be different Spider-Men from different Spider-Verses.
Do you still watch The Flash?
I haven't watched any of this season.
Okay.
Because I mean, just nobody needs to know this, but I'll tell you anyway. My son has gotten into the DC Universe TV shows, and he asked me to wait on the new season of The Flash until he had caught up. So we're going to watch that together. So I haven't watched any of the new season, but yes, I am still interested, and I'm very interested in the Crisis Earth crossover stuff. I think
I was
the
just
DC
saying
TV,
if you knew about the cameo that just happened.
No, and I don't want to.
I'm not going to spoil it then.
I don't, because one thing I do know is I have really loved the freedom and the almost silliness that they're allowed to do with the TV DC universe, where they're allowed to play in these worlds and crossover. And I think, to me, that's where DC found their universe. And maybe they're going to find it cinematically too. I don't know. But the TV shows are the DCEU as far as I'm concerned.
And I'm not even counting the... Not just Arrow, Supergirl, and Flash. I'm talking also, you know, I was about to say Suicide Squad, but no. Like, you know, the
Legends.
actual DC, Legends, but I'm talking about the actual DC online shows like Titans and Doom Patrol and Swamp Thing.
Right.
But, you know,
one of the most epic moments in SiftPop history, unfortunately.
Man, heartbroken. But, I hear Phil out there. But, so... I agree with you that that's the way that DC, whenever I think of the universe, you know, but you need to get caught up on the Flash before somebody spoils it for you, because your mind's going to get blown.
All right, it'll be fun.
Yep.
I will let you know when it blows my mind.
Yeah. Number three. Deadpool 3 is officially in the works at the MCU.
Okay.
This was a couple weeks ago, because we were on break, sort of. We had some episodes that we pre-recorded, and then this came out. It's big news, but I think a lot of people already know about it.
You gotta assume there's money to be made there, and this will be fascinating. Of any movie project that I'm aware of coming up, I think I'm the most fascinated by this one in how the merging of because we just saw Disney play Star Wars so safe, with Rise of the Skywalker, and I'm just like, how do you play Deadpool safe?
It's going to be the first R-rated Disney movie.
I mean that's. And what does that mean? See, I'm fascinated by what this movie is going to be.
I figured you're going to be talking about the transition from, like, the actual transitions from one studio to the other. And I think if you're going to have any character do it, Deadpool. He's going to break the fourth wall and actually mention, leaving Fox.
Having Ryan Reynolds Deadpool in the MCU could be amazing.
Oh,
It
yeah.
could be so fun to have him pop into whatever the next phase of the MCU is as the X-Men start to come in and those kind of things, to have him pop in and to be able to be like winking at the audience.
Yeah.
And that could be, man, that could fit right in.
So from what I understand, and again, all this is hearsay because it's so early on, but the Deadpool movies can be R-rated. But whenever Deadpool is like doing an ensemble with like Avengers or anything like that, it's a PG-13.
Oh, sure, and he'll probably make fun of that too.
Yeah,
he'll be aware that he's got the handcuffs on.
Exactly.
Again, I find this character fascinating.
Yeah,
I find it intriguing. I'm excited to see kind of what they do with it.
Yeah,
that'll be good. They're also aren't they kind of almost testing the waters with the Ryan Reynolds NPC movie? Because that's a Disney movie too, isn't it?
Is it?
Yeah, I think it is.
Wow.
The one where he plays an NPC.
Yeah.
I forget what it's called. Random man or
it's something like that.
Regular guy or I forget.
But the NPC movie.
Yeah.
Nice guy or new guy, whatever. Yeah, let's not dwell on it. Somebody in the chat will tell us what
That's
it is.
fine. It's called what it's called.
Yeah.
Y'all know what we're talking about.
Exactly. Number 4.
This
one's really interesting. You're going to like this one. Warner Brothers has joined with the company called Synalytic, an AI company who Warner Brothers wants them to create a decision-making algorithm-based AI to help greenlight future projects.
Yeah, whatever.
I really thought you were going to be like, whoa, into
They've
this.
done this before.
Have they now?
They've worked at it. They're trying to figure. Look, AI is the future. Whether we like it or not, it's just going to happen. And at some point, it will result in a very different world, right?
Yeah.
It will result in what feels to us like a less human environment and a less, human, because we are of the assumption that the same thing about being human that makes awful movies and makes mistakes is also the spark of genius when something special happens.
Yeah.
Right? And so we feel like artificial intelligence, and I feel this way too, but I'm a dumb human, but we feel like it limits the ability to think outside of the box because they're literally programmed to think inside the box.
Yeah.
So it will be what it will be. If it works, it works. If there's an algorithm that can determine what a great script is, fine, go for it. I'm still going to watch the movie and go, I like that or I didn't like that.
Yeah.
And my stupid humanity is going to determine a lot of that. So
exactly.
It'll be interesting.
Number 5.
Yep.
Uncharted has lost its 6th director in Travis Knight. Should this property be pushed to either 2021 or 2022, or should it just be scrapped?
I don't know. Again, I'm not the one to ask, probably because I've never played the game. All I know is it's like an Indiana Jones type video game.
That's all you need.
That's literally I know, and that Tom Holland is supposed to be in it.
And it's not. He didn't. Travis Knight didn't drop out for creative differences. It's because of the Spider-Man news. That's Tom Holland's shooting schedule for Spider-Man got pushed up.
Yeah.
So it would have interfered with the.
So the calendars couldn't work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but it's the 6th director.
At the end of the day, it's whatever you put on the screen is going to determine.
Yeah.
So
what was it? Is it just called Jobs or Steve Jobs? The
The one with
Michael
Ashton,
the Michael
Fassbender
Fassbender one.
Yeah, what about it?
That movie went through, I think, 4 or 5 directors before it actually landed on what's his name?
Fincher?
No, Fincher didn't end up doing it. Remember?
Who ended up doing Jobs? Why don't I know this? I know it was Sorkin, right?
Aaron Sorkin wrote it, but the guy who did like 127 Hours and Train Spotting.
Well, I'll tell you this: if you type in "jobs director"
Yeah.
into Google, it'll give you a lot of job opportunities and
Hey!
people who are responsible.
They're looking for
them.
directors?
Yeah. So no, just whoever a job director is.
Why do I keep saying? I know it's not Sam.
Yeah, Joshua Michael Stern is the answer to this question. I had no clue. I would have never been able to come.
No,
up
Danny
with it.
Boyle is the answer, isn't it? Danny Boyle directed Steve Jobs.
Well, Steve Jobs was the Kutcher one, though. Jobs was the other one, and that was Joshua Michael Stern, right?
No, I'm totally right here.
Okay, good.
Danny Boyle directed Steve Jobs.
So we're talking
starring-
about Steve Jobs,
Yes,
starring
the Michael Fassbender.
Okay, that's the issue then. Yeah.
Yeah, Danny Boyle.
This has been a fun trip down Google Lane.
For who? Yeah. But yeah, what the point I was trying to make is that it started with David Fincher, and then it went to like several different directors, and
You're good.
that's moving on its own.
The camera is?
Yeah.
I don't think it's moving on its own, but
Are you touching cords or something?
no, but I think you are.
I was. How about that? It was wrapped around my foot, and I didn't even feel it.
Welcome to the live show.
Yeah.
Phil, you got a good shot still? All right.
Yeah. I was like, it's haunted. There's a poltergeist there. And
I watched you. I watched you trying to figure it out. I'm
Yeah.
like, I know you're kicking it somehow.
Yeah. Yeah, like Aaron, you got a poltergeist. You gotta,
I do.
you gotta get the
I do.
Ghostbusters in here.
I would love that.
Number 6.
So wait, so I want to go back to this also to
Okay.
give maybe Phil a cut point if he wants to cut some of this out. But at the end of all that search, Danny Boyle is who we're talking about.
Yes.
That directed Jobs with
So,
Michael Fassbender.
I guess the point I was trying to make is, yes, probably a good idea to push this back. You don't want to rush it, but
But it can still work.
you could still work.
Yeah.
Exactly, because Steve
Yeah.
Jobs is great.
Well, and Ant-Man's a good movie too, and we all know about the
yeah.
stuff that happened with Edgar Wright behind that. So yeah, things can change. It can happen.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on.
All right. We had some great musical biopics over the last couple of years. We had Rami Malek as Freddie Mercury. Then we had Taron Egerton as Elton John and Rocket Man. Now we have Timothy Chalamet in Bandwagon as Bob Dylan.
Yeah, this could be interesting. Chalamet's putting work out, man.
Yeah, good work.
So tell me about this movie. What do you know about this movie?
It's about Bob Dylan.
The movie itself he's not playing Bob Dylan in a movie about something else.
From what I read, this is a Bob Dylan biopic. Kind of like Taron Egerton's Rocket Man, it's about a musical artist who is still alive. I forget all the time that Bob Dylan is still alive.
Yeah.
Like,
I think maybe Bob Dylan forgets every once in a while that he's still alive.
yeah.
It seems possible.
it's
at
fair.
least.
That's a fair assumption. Yeah. But yeah, Timothy Chalamet, I don't know, he just has that. Whenever you think of Bob Dylan, you think of, a groundbreaking artist, And whenever I think of Timothy Chalamet, for as young as he is and as good as he is also a groundbreaking artist. So I think this is a great, casting right here.
Yeah, no, I'm always anxious to see what Timothy Chalamet is doing.
Chalamet, Champagne.
This is
Tim Champagne.
This is Mangold directing this too, right?
Yeah.
Who just came off Ford versus Ferrari, which I think is really good. So
I do love me some Mangold.
I think we've got some awards bait going here for
It's
sure.
going to be the Western Bob Dylan story.
Nice.
Yeah. But you know what? That's going to wrap it up for Do We Care?
Wow.
All 6 of them.
All 6 of them, in none of them. What was the? I just slipped my brain, but you said something about. Oh, Phil, you're gonna have to edit this out because my brain just shut down on me. What was it you said? Oh, Andrew, you said something about creative differences, and it made me think of what's his name stepping away for creative.
Doctor Strange?
Yeah, did we talk about that last time?
No.
We haven't talked about the Doctor Strange thing either.
Yeah, that's creative differences.
Yeah.
The reason why he left.
That came out of nowhere. It felt like
Yeah.
it was just like boom.
Yeah, I mean, didn't he do the Marvel panel at like Comic-Con or
Probably.
something?
Scott Derrickson is who we're talking about.
Oh yeah, I
Yeah.
guess we kept saying him. You
Playing
have
the-
a name, Scott.
Playing the pronoun game over
Yeah.
here. But yeah, so I'm a lot of fascinating stuff going on behind the scenes at Marvel. We'll see
Yeah,
where this next phase
this new
takes them.
phase is gonna be fun.
It is going to be fun.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on, shall we? Let's do a little Oscar talk about the nominations since they've been released.
Big news coming out of Hollywood.
I am
Big white male news.
I am fresh off my trip to Los Angeles for the Critics' Choice Awards.
Yeah.
Which maybe let's talk a little bit about that in the member show.
Member show.
Yeah, let's talk about that for our member show. And the thing is, we had our awards on Sunday night. Oscar nominations come out Monday morning, so I was still in Los Angeles when the Oscar nominations came out, and it was just kind of the closest, because of the way the season is compact this year. It's kind of the closest I was to, like being disoriented by how
Like-
fast everything's happening.
Oh, I got you. Like,
Yeah.
Wait, did we nominate that, or is it an Oscar nomination?
Yeah, it's really weird. And the Golden Globes were before us this year, which is rare.
Are they not?
No, usually it's Critics' Choice, then Golden Globes, then Oscar
SAG.
nominations, and then the SAG Awards, and then the Oscars, which I think it'll go back to the next couple of years at least. But yeah, it's really weird. So what are some of our thoughts here?
So we have several different categories here. We
Yeah,
have
let's start with-
Oscar surprises.
Yeah, let's start with biggest surprises.
I'm surprised that the Joker got the most Oscar nominations.
Yeah.
11.
But you're
Oscar
happy about that, right? Like,
I
you-
mean, yeah,
you think that's a
totally.
great movie.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but I'm surprised that it got 11 nominations.
And we should say it does feel it did get the most, but there were also 2 or 3 other movies that got 10.
1917 and
Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. They both
Yeah.
got 10.
They both got 10. So you kind of feel those 3 are at the top.
Yeah,
And then, but yeah, Joker got one more than the other 2 did. So
that's crazy.
it is interesting.
Another surprise, Scarlett Johansson for both lead and supporting actress.
Yes.
Has that ever happened?
Yes.
It has? Okay.
Yeah. I couldn't tell you who, but I'm sure that somebody has been nominated in both. I'm so sure I don't even have to look it up to be sure.
Oh, that's
that's
pretty
that's how
That's-
confident I am
That's
that
a
it's happened
confident
before.
dicer over there, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah.
So I found that interesting. I think she probably deserves the Marriage Story nomination, but I'm not on board with the Jojo Rabbit nomination.
I am.
She's great in
She's
that,
not going to win
but-
either one. I don't
Yeah,
think.
no, I don't.
I'm
Think she
I'm
will
getting
either.
it early on my predictions, but yeah.
One of my biggest surprises was not seeing Frozen 2 in animated. And don't confuse this with I think Frozen 2 should have been nominated. I actually don't. I think it was the right call.
Yeah.
But usually
The
Disney's
Oscars let it go.
Disney's big animated films.
It's Toy Story 4.
Usually, well, that's Pixar though. Usually they get both the Pixar and the Disney into the mix of things. So,
Yeah.
and I know it's the same company, but I just mean kind
Sure.
of different production arms.
So you got Klaus is
Yeah.
one of them,
Yeah.
and
Have we ever determined if it's Klaus or Claus? I think it's like
Klaus.
Like
Klaus.
Klaus.
Yeah.
Anyways, I was glad to see that.
Santa
So-
Claus.
Yeah, so that got in there, and then I Lost My Body, which is another Netflix animated film, which you can pop on Netflix any point. It's worth a watch. So I
Okay.
I was glad to see that, but I was surprised either way.
All right. So the next category is
Well, I'm not done with surprises.
Oh, you're not.
I just
Oof.
didn't know if you had any more.
Oh my Lanta. No, I'm good.
I was surprised that Robert De Niro didn't get a nomination.
Were
Now,
you?
I really was. And again, not saying he should have, because that's a stacked category. We've talked about it all year, how stacked that Best Actor category is.
Yeah.
But I kind of expected him to be in there. I was also surprised that the movie Farewell didn't get any nominations, because it's kind of
Yeah.
been growing in buzz for a lot of this award season, and it's been getting a few
And it
nominations.
seems
in
like
each-
the perfect Oscar film, Like
Yeah.
everything about it just screams Oscar.
yeah, and not a single nomination.
No
so-
Aquafina, nothing.
Well, even nothing in like hair and
Writing,
makeup, or
directing.
production design, or any of that kind of stuff. So yeah, I was very surprised at that. And then finally, I am surprised that we can now say Oscar nominated Maleficent 2. got an Oscar nomination. So that's always one of my favorite things each year.
Where you find the one movie.
You find the movie, you're like, Oscar nominated.
Oscar nominated Suicide Squad.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Next category is most exciting nominations.
Yeah, I got one here that I'm super excited for.
Okay, which is?
That Parasite was nominated for both Best Picture and Foreign Language Film.
Yeah.
Because that guarantees pretty much, like a 99% guarantee that it's going to win Foreign Language Film.
Yeah, I think, which by the way is now called international film because they've changed it.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
I don't even know what the rules are.
So does that mean that movies filmed in like England and stuff are now?
I don't know. I think it has to do with international production companies, or I have no idea anymore. I think the way it has worked in the past, and I don't think this part of it has changed. I think just the title has changed. But each country gets to submit, their best from their country, and then they choose between all of those for the best international film.
Yeah.
And the first South Korean film to be nominated for Best Picture.
Yeah. And, I mean, more than deserves it.
But it's also kind of a bummer because we saw it last year with Roma, right?
They're going to be like, it's going to win
It's got
Best
international, so who needs to give it Best Picture?
Exactly,
so,
yeah. But at the same time, it is a guarantee almost that it's going to win Best International Film. Because why would they nominate it for Best Picture if there's a foreign or a international film that's better than it,
I don't know. It'll be interesting. Pain and Glory, I think, is the only one that probably has a chance.
Antonio Banderas.
And
he was nominated.
That's what I'm saying. Picked up some nominations outside of just Best International.
You didn't like that movie.
I liked his performance. He's incredible in it. But no, the movie did not move me in the same way it has moved a lot of people.
Yeah.
So one of my most exciting nominations, of course, would be the Knives Out screenwriting nomination. I was glad to see Rian Johnson get nominated for that.
We didn't even mention that in a Do We Care that Daniel Craig is coming back for multiple Knives Out sequels.
Yeah.
So I know you care.
We
about
definitely care, and
Yeah.
if by we you mean me.
Yeah.
I was also really excited to see the Two Popes acting nominations. That really made me happy. I'm glad, especially the Jonathan Pryce nomination, because he's so good in that movie.
It really is.
And in a stacked category like that, I didn't think he had a shot.
No, I had a feeling he was going to be in there. I'm surprised, or going back to surprises, but it might be a snub too. So we'll wait.
You can hold it for snubs.
Yeah.
We can definitely hold it for snubs, but
because there's plenty of them.
I was excited to see Hopkins and he as well in for Two Popes. I thought that was great.
Yeah.
And then the only other one I would mention is animated short, the movie Kit Bull, which you can, by the way, watch on Disney Plus if you want to.
Okay.
Is really sweet, really great, and when that name came up, I was like, oh, I know that one. That's fun. I like that one. So, yeah.
Sweet sauce.
Any other exciting nominations for you?
No, that was actually the really big one. I was like, oh wow. Parasite Best Picture, because for us, I think the Academy found out that it won the SiftPop Movie of the Year.
I think that's what it was.
And then they were like, well, I guess we got to know.
I think at this point you kind of have to assume that.
Yeah.
Let's talk about snubs, shall we?
We got a bunch.
Why don't we go back and forth? You kick it off. We probably have some of the same ones.
Oh, yeah. My biggest one is Lupita Nyong'o for Best Actress.
Definitely. It's my second biggest one. But, it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
I cannot believe she's not in there.
Yeah.
It's just an incredible performance. And when I try to talk about quote-unquote snubs, I like to try to think in terms of, okay, but who do they replace, right? Because there are obviously a lot of great performances during the year, and it's easy to say, well, this was a great performance and it should have been in. It's a little harder sometimes to say, well, who do you take out of there? So, who do you take out of the best actress?
You don't take out Charlize because she's going to win. You don't take out, is it Reese Witherspoon for Judy Garland? Or is it...
no, that was Renee Zellweger.
That's what I meant, yeah. So she'll probably stay in there too. Who are the other ones? I already
Saoirse
forget.
Ronan, Little Women, Scarlett
seen it.
Johansson, Marriage Story, and Cynthia Erivo, Harriet. And what's interesting about this is my instinct is to take Cynthia Erivo out, but she's the only nominee of color in the entire acting category.
And you would just be replacing her with another actress of color. Yeah.
Yeah. So and that feels icky to me.
Yeah. Is Saoirse Ronan really good?
She's great in Little Women, but I wouldn't. I'm a huge Saoirse fan.
Yeah.
But I think that would be fine. I do think Lupita deserves a nomination above Saoirse.
There you go.
So yeah, that would be fine with me as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't believe she didn't get nominated.
So that's my biggest, and you said it was your second. So what is your biggest?
Apollo 11.
Oh, documentary.
Yeah, I think I may have figured it out actually after this and last year.
Where was it? A Beautiful Day in the or
Yeah, Won't You Be My Neighbor?
Yeah.
Which I considered not only the best documentary of last year, but one of my favorite movies of last year.
Yeah.
Same with Apollo 11. It will make my best of the year.
So if it's the best documentary, it doesn't get nominated.
And I think the reason I can put my finger on is whoever is doing the nominating for the Oscars, the Academy for Best Documentary.
Pretentious.
Yeah, and the part of pretension that's like, this documentary is meaningful. This documentary is changing something, is looking to change the world, is doing something important. Because that is the common denominator I can find in both those movies is you could look at them and go, they're not trying to change some big social issue. They're not shining light on something that's, going to change the world. Apollo 11 is just an incredible work of cinema about one of the key moments in human history, but it kind of looks at the past and just, talks about, but these others that are nominated, they're all
like
about
Honeyland.
they're all about social change or about, so I think that's what it is. I think there's a bias towards something that means, something.
Which is, I find funny because, it's a documentary about how mankind left the Earth and landed on the moon.
Right.
And then
but it's not enacting social change
exactly
in 2019.
But there was also it lost out to a documentary about a family who raised bees and their neighbors wanted to raise bees too.
Well, there was more to it than that, but yes.
You know what I'm getting
Yes,
at.
I do.
Yeah.
I do. But it also lost out to American Factory, which is, a story of the differences between the East and the West and how they, deal with factory situations in a plant in America. Edge of Democracy, For Sama, The Cave. These are all, like, you could say.
What is The Cave about? I keep seeing that name
movies.
pop up.
So, I mean, it would take more than just a few moments to talk about, and I prefer
I can look it up.
It's worth watching.
Okay,
is what I would say.
Yeah. So my next snub. Greta Gerwig for Best Director.
I agree. I've got that in mind as well.
Yep.
Yeah.
I have to. Everybody's saying it, but I haven't seen Little Women, so I don't know. But enough people have said it that I understand now that it is a snub.
Yeah, no, it totally is. And because of what she did with a property, I think I've said this before, but it's a property that's been done before, and you feel like, what is there new that you could add to this? And yet she does. And the way she tells this story is absolutely beautiful. So yeah, I would have had her in there instead of Todd Phillips, which may be different for you. I don't know who you would replace, but yeah, I didn't like much about Joker other than Joaquin Phoenix's performance.
Was Quentin Tarantino nominated?
Quentin was there. Nominated.
I'd take him out. I mean, I've seen.
Dude, there's no reason to put a hit on somebody. You don't have to take him out. That's unfortunate.
Yeah. Well, I'm pretty savage like that. So that was my...
We're best friends now. You can't hurt Quentin.
Yeah,
we hung out.
Oh yeah. Oh, you got to talk about. Is that a teaser for the patron show?
Sure. Yeah, I got to spend some moments with Quentin Tarantino. It was fun.
Okay, so what is your next snub?
My next snub is a little okay. This is the stacked category that we talked about, so I wanted to talk about it as a snub, but fully admitting I don't know what you do here.
Yeah. I have a feeling we have the exact same one.
Christian Bale in Ford versus Ferrari.
Okay.
Here's my thing. I think it may be one of the greatest performances. In fact, I had it when we did our awards as one of my favorite performances of the year.
Yeah.
And the reason for me is there's a subtlety to it that really allowed me to see the genius of Christian Bale, because he's not Christian Bale in that movie. He is this character, but it's just a normal human guy, but it's a different normal human guy than I've ever seen Christian Bale be before. Like, I was blown away by his acting, but I think because it's so simplistic or subtle. Simplistic's the wrong word, but maybe subtle is too. I don't know. Yeah. I was just really...
It's transformative, though.
Right. Yeah, exactly. It's what he does. Now, for me, I'd probably have it in over Antonio Banderas. I would probably have it in over Leonardo DiCaprio.
Is this lead or is it supporting?
It would be a lead.
It would?
Wouldn't it? I think he was considered a lead
Okay.
in the lead, and I think they put Damon in supporting.
Okay.
Neither one of them got nominated, but yeah, I think that's how they did it. Adam Driver definitely deserves his nomination. Joaquin Phoenix definitely deserves his nomination. I think Jonathan Pryce deserves his nomination. So that leaves me with Leo or Antonio, and I would be fine with either of the O's finding their way off for Christian Bale. But again, I admit this is a stacked category.
Yeah.
So, and one of the O's didn't make it, which is De Niro. So,
Yeah.
you know.
Well, I'm going to add to that category that is super stacked. Kang Ho Song.
Yeah, sure. Absolutely.
That's my last snub. And like you said, it's a super stacked category. I don't know who I'd take out. I haven't seen Pride and Glory, so, you know.
Hard to say.
It's hard to say.
It is a worthy performance.
It's just, whenever I think of the word snub, also, it's not like, for me, it's also like, it's a shame they didn't get nominated.
Right.
You know? Not like, oh, somebody took their spot. Sometimes it's just like, yeah, but I really wish that person would have gotten a shout out, you know?
Yeah.
Because it's a way of showing, you know, gratitude for great work is just the nomination in itself. But that's going to wrap it up for all my snubs. Do you have any more?
Well, just that Knives Out deserved to be nominated for everything, and
okay,
and it wasn't.
Yeah,
so.
yeah.
I do wish it was nominated for Best Picture over a couple of those, but yeah, that's just me. Especially Ford versus Ferrari, which is a great movie, but Knives Out
look, the tables have turned here. You know,
but Knives Out should be in there instead. That and Jojo Rabbit and Joker and all those other awful movies that got nominated.
Yeah.
Come on, I'm just trying to needle.
No.
Just trying to do a little needling.
This is not going to work on me.
All right, fair enough. All right, let's do some predictions, shall we?
No, I'm not going to give away all my secrets.
No, of course not. And this is probably
because you know I'm a pretty good guesser when it comes to the Oscars.
This is as good a time as any to mention that we will be doing the Oscar party again.
Sposkers!
And we're calling it the Sposkers this year. And so the Sposkers will be happening Oscar weekend. And we will be doing a live stream, a second screen experience is I think what they call it in the business.
Yeah.
So you can pop us open on your laptop or on your phone and kind of be listening to us in your ear as you're watching the show along with us.
Yep.
We will not be broadcasting the show in any form, video or audio.
Can't do that.
We will be watching it live, and we will have live commentary throughout.
Yeah. Disney doesn't like it whenever you stream their
No, they
stuff.
don't. As well as a live shot of the main viewing room, and we're hoping to have a lot of guests in to watch with us and to talk about it. So we're really excited about that night.
I'm going to be dressed to the nines.
And Andrew's going to get all dressed up, get all snazzy.
Yeah.
We'll also have our Sposkers picks that you can do. And that website will I'll tweet that out, and SiftPop will retweet it here very shortly, probably this week. So you can get your picks in, and man, there's not a lot of time.
No, I mean
It's only a couple weeks.
This whole season, like you said, the award season is just speeding by.
Yeah. So we're excited for Sposkers
but
coming up.
I'm going to give.
So we don't want to give everything away.
But I have some predictions that I think are pretty set in stone that I don't.
Yeah,
mind
just give a
giving
few.
away.
We'll each give a few. We'll go back and forth.
I think the most obvious out of every single one is Joaquin Phoenix for Best Actor.
In fact, this is what I had for one of my predictions. I'm gonna just kind of piggyback on that. I think all the acting categories are pretty much set in stone. I think.
My other one was Charlize Theron.
Yeah, well, it's so interesting. I mean, you just stick with that. I would love to see you continue to pick that, but this is.
Are you going with Judy?
Yeah, Renee Zellweger has just been winning this down the line.
Really?
And I just from Renee to Brad Pitt in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood to who did we already say?
Joaquin.
Joaquin Phoenix is as best actor.
Best supporting actress would be Kathy Bates.
No, supporting actress will be Laura Dern in Marriage Story.
Really?
Yeah. Yep.
She's in the movie for 5 minutes.
Well, it's a supporting actress. That's why. But she's actually fitting into our category here.
Yeah.
I'm just telling you, from my and you go ahead and stick with you. I want you to pick the ones that you're saying you can pick because I want to beat you. But I'm telling you, these are all.
Yeah, you think you're gonna beat me? How's that worked out for you the last couple of years?
Pretty good, actually. Pretty good.
Oh, that's right. You and I are always like number 1 and number 2.
Well, I wouldn't say always, but there was definitely that year. Was it last year or 2 years ago?
No, it was Moonlight was the year that you beat me.
Well, I beat you the one year where I beat you because we were 10 minutes apart on the tiebreaker. Like we tied with our number of picks.
Is that what it was?
Yeah.
Because I remember you beat me because I had La La Land winning.
I had La La Land winning. So I know that wasn't the reason I beat you.
But that would have put me over.
If you had picked Moonlight or something?
Yeah. If
we can look back through the history, but yeah.
Yeah.
It'll be another fun one. But you just pick who you want to pick. I'm excited for that.
I'll pick whoever I want.
All right, what other predictions do you have?
Sam Mendes for Best Director.
Yeah, I'm going to go against you on this. I'm predicting Bong on Best Director.
Really?
I really think so. In the same way that Cuarón won Best Director for Roma, I think that will be the award that he gets. But that goes hand in hand with my other prediction that 1917 will win Best Picture.
Me too.
I think that'll probably happen.
Yeah.
And then the only other prediction I had was Greta and Quentin will win the screenplay Oscars. I think that's the other one I feel pretty confident about. So, did you have any others?
Nope. Like I said, didn't want to give away my trade secrets.
Oh, I gave away too much.
Yeah.
I gave away too much. Who's going to win best live action short feature?
Yes.
All right. There you go. There's a look at our thoughts
You just
on the
had
Oscar
to pick a
nominations.
category you knew I knew nothing about.
Well,
didn't
I don't
you?
think either of us know anything about those. You ready to move on to our review?
Man, it took us a while, but we finally made it.
All right, let's talk about Dolittle. Dr. John Dolittle lives in solitude behind the high walls of his lush manor in 19th century England. His only companionship comes from an array of exotic animals that he speaks to on a daily basis. But when young Queen Victoria becomes gravely ill, the eccentric doctor and his furry friends embark on an epic adventure to a mythical island to find the cure. Robert Downey Jr. playing the good doctor, and as well as many other famous-ish people playing the voices.
No, that's
of the
selling
animals.
people short. I mean, you had John Cena. Ba, ba, da, ba.
Did you like it, love it, dislike it, hate it, or it was just okay?
I didn't like it.
I hated it.
You hated it.
I hated this movie. I was angry by the
Really?
end by how bad this movie is.
It's really bad.
It's so bad.
There's some parts in this. Oh, I got to tell you right now, my theater was dying. They were laughing so hard.
No.
I swear.
No.
Yeah.
Well, for
That
shame.
just lets you know about the quality of humor that some people have.
Yeah.
I will say there are moments in this that actually got a pretty good chuckle out of me.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll just say it deals with a tiger and looking at something. I was like, huh, that's actually kind of clever. You know, I like that.
I don't remember exactly what you're talking about, but
With a light. Ooh.
Oh, yeah.
That's clever. That's funny.
Is it?
Yes.
Okay. Fair enough.
That's
works for you.
That's the only part I chuckled at in this entire movie.
I don't know. That, as well as everything else to me, just all seemed to be so obvious, so poorly structured, poorly written.
Hey, quit knocking on my #1 movie of the year.
It's not mine.
Yeah.
But that's because I've seen Bad Boys for Life. So,
Yeah.
you know, I've already got 2 movies under my belt for 2020.
Let's start with Robert Downey Jr.
Yeah, go ahead. What in the world happened here?
I think he was so adamant about not being Tony Stark that he's like, guys, just let me try something. I don't want to be known as Tony Stark. I want to try something totally different.
Well, he certainly tried something totally different.
Yeah, he tried bad.
Yeah. Well, you know what it reminded me of is like a Johnny Depp performance where it's like he's trying to do something.
Oh, it's like a Tim
weird.
Burton.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like weird or strange, and it just did not work. And
Yeah.
in fact, my understanding of the process of making this movie is that they basically redubbed his entire performance
Really?
after the fact. And so whatever he tried in the moment didn't work, and then whatever he tried to do to cover it up
That didn't work either.
didn't work either. So I
Yeah.
don't know. It's really bad.
Yeah.
I love Robert Downey Jr.
Not in this.
I don't love Robert Downey Jr. here.
Yeah.
It was not amusing to me at all.
Yeah. I think there were way too many pop cultural references in this movie. And I guess we should say off the top, this is not a movie made for us. This is obviously a kids movie.
If we want to have a positive conversation about this movie, which we try to do, we try to look for the positive things. That's exactly where I was going to go.
Yeah.
If you want to take, I'd say 5 to 11.
Yeah.
If you want to take your 5 to 11-year-old to this movie, you may have a grand old time.
Yeah.
It's it's got animals, it's got kids in major roles
And farts.
and it's got fart jokes, and it's got funny kid stuff.
Yeah.
It's colorful. There's things to look at. That is where I would go from the positive side of this. But unlike what animation, I shouldn't say animation, but like what family films have kind of become.
We've been spoiled by Pixar.
Well,
with it being as
Pixar
good
has
for
elevated, other, like even this year, the Netflix film Klaus that we talked about getting nominated, it has a lot of those things that kids would love, but it's also moving and interesting and well done. Lego Movie's another great example. So yeah, this movie does not have that though.
Yeah.
There was nothing for the adults in this movie other than the times where maybe you could connect to your child at heart. Maybe like if you can somehow put on your 7-year-old eyes and not see how lame the dialogue in this movie is.
It's bad.
It's so bad. Just so many cliches.
It's the dumbest plot ever, too.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there isn't much to it. It's one kind of meaningless side quest.
Yeah.
By the end of it, so yeah.
No, yeah. This whole movie is a side quest.
The other thing about it is there's so much going on in the voice acting thing. There's so many animals that you never really get a chance to understand those animals as characters or understand the personalities of the people playing them. Other than maybe Rami Malek as the gorilla is given a little bit more time. I think
Emma Thompson is the parrot.
Yeah, I guess.
Because she's technically the main animal.
But you've got Tom Holland in there. You've got Selena Gomez. You've got Ralph Fiennes. You've got John Cena. You've got Kumail Nanjiani. You've got Craig Robinson. You've got Octavia Spencer.
Yeah.
You've got Marion Cotillard.
Who has, 3 lines?
Yeah.
And 2 of them are, French cliches.
Yes. Yes.
Mon ami.
And then you've got Antonio Banderas popping up.
Yeah.
Fresh off of his Oscar nomination.
Yeah, showing why he deserved that.
That's right. If I had to give a human performance props, it would probably be Michael Sheen. And again, he's so...
But he knows what kind of movie he's in.
Exactly. That's what I felt like. I felt like, okay, Michael Sheen is doing the over-the-top kids movie performance here.
Yeah.
And it's kind of working for me because it feels at a piece with the rest of the film.
Where Downey is just... He's trying to be weird, but it's off-putting weird.
Yeah.
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 Because he's the main character. You're supposed to want to relate to the main character in some fashion. And we're supposed to relate to him for the simple fact that he loves animals. I mean, that's not really a saving grace. A lot of people like animals, you know?
Yeah.
You got to give me something other than that. Oh, and this movie totally destroys the magic that is being Dr. Dolittle, you know?
Right.
I'm trying to, because I don't know if that's technically spoilers.
You know what?
Or
I'm
not.
going to be honest with you. I don't care. It's, again, if we're saying that 5 to 11 is the audience here, that's probably not who's listening to us anyway.
Yeah. Oh, so apparently anybody can learn how to speak with animals.
I wasn't, and here's another thing. I wasn't sure if that's what the movie was saying or if it was saying this other kid was special like he was, like that he had the same gift. And I think that's to the movie's detriment that it's not clear about that because that would allow you to tell some sort of meaningful story, right? About this kid and his progression into becoming the next Dolittle or whatever.
Yeah.
But we don't even know. Is he learning it via education, which some points in the movie kind of point that he's taking classes-ish?
Yeah.
On it's just a different language. You just have to learn it like a different language.
Which technically that would mean he's learning 9 different languages at
more.
the same time.
Right, yeah. Or is it one of those things where it's a gift that you have that you're just, built with, like a magic that comes, with your genetics or something, which at other points of the movie, it kind of feels like that's what it's supposed to be. There's things said to this kid like, you've got the gift, kid. And I don't know.
Yeah.
And maybe it's supposed to be a combination of the two. It just doesn't allow for a clarity of understanding the character movement of this kid as he, finds his way from shooting a squirrel to speaking animals.
Yeah. There is a scene in this movie that I'm not over exaggerating is one of the most uncomfortable, awkward scenes that I've had in a long time because I know it's a kid's movie and it deals with butt stuff.
It deals with butt stuff.
Yeah.
Are we talking about the dragon?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
It's just uncomfortable because he's digging stuff out.
yeah, I was like, okay,
A little rectum inspectum?
You're doing a dragon colonoscopy, are you? And you're pulling stuff out of the dragon's butt. I mean, it was oddly sexual. And
Was it?
did you not see the dragon's? I don't want to get into it because it's so weird.
You feel like me talking about cats. 'Cause
Yeah.
do you remember that? Like I was just
Yeah,
like,
you're
there was
like,
something weirdly sexual about cats, and
Yeah.
it made me uncomfortable. And it's like I remember. I didn't feel that way during the dragon scene here. But,
No, it was so awkward. Yeah, so awkward.
oh man, yeah. It's in literally the plot hinges on a fart joke. Like that's literally the climax of the film
Yeah,
is gas.
yeah,
So welcome to Dolittle.
yeah.
Anything else you wanted to talk about?
No,
No, and me either. Not a recommend at all. Again, maybe if you have kids,
I mean it's number 1 of the year.
and you will. How amazing would it be if it stayed number 1 even for just one more movie? Like whatever the next movie you saw just happened to be even worse
Yeah.
than this.
Well, next week's what? The Gentleman? Is that
Yeah.
what we're doing next week?
Yeah.
So, I mean, Guy Ritchie, you better bring it. I mean, how could a movie directed by one of the most wholesome family directors we know, and Stephen Gaghan, who gave us such great family films like Traffic and Syriana, do something like this?
Here it is.
Yeah.
Lots of things can happen.
Did you know that Steve Gaghan directed this?
I know, to be honest.
I was like, when I saw it, I'm like, is that the same one I'm thinking of who did like Syriana and Traffic, two of the most
Right.
horrifying movies that deal with literal human trafficking and, terror attacks and stuff like that. But now here he comes doing Dr. Dolittle. I mean, it's like, that is really pushing your boundaries, huh?
Yeah. Yeah.
The guy won an Oscar for best writing, and now here he is doing this.
It's not good.
No.
I'll just tell you that. It is not good. And that is unfortunate because I always want a movie to be good.
And the only reason why I didn't say I hated it is because I know it's not a movie for me.
Well,
it's a kid's movie.
And the only reason I say I did hate it is because it is the kind of movie that does make me angry, because not only is there potential, not only is there talent involved,
Yeah.
but the movie decides not to do anything, right? So like the movie itself isn't. See, Cats is a better movie than this for me, because Cats at least is doing something crazy, something weird, something out there. It's taking a swing, right? This movie never feels like it's taking any kind of swing. It just exists. It's just there. It's just blah. And that's when I get activated to be like, you are wasting my time. You're not even trying to do something special, and you're failing at just being mediocre. And that's tough to do. When you set out for mediocre and you fail, that's the worst kind of movie for me. So, and again, that's harsh because nobody sets out for mediocre, but I just mean when you're not trying to take any risks and you still fail at, playing it safe. So anyhow, that's why I say I hated it. And in general, when you see me hate, quote unquote, a movie, that's going to be the reason why.
Yeah.
Something that falls in those lines. Before we head on to our buried treasure, just a reminder, you can be a SiftPop member, and we thank you for that. We do a members-only show every week for a few minutes. We talk about a topic, and we'll be talking about my trip out to L.A. a little bit in the SiftPop members show, and excited to have that conversation with our members. And thank you again to our members who continue to make this show better. We appreciate you so much. If you're interested, you can be a member at Patreon, patreon.com/SiftPop SiftPop starts at $3 a month, and there's perks that come with the different levels. So you can check that out again at patreon.com/SiftPop. All right, let's move on to our buried treasure.
Let's do it.
You want to go first?
Yeah. I saw a movie that it's going to sound bad. It's not great or even good, but it's fun. It's a fun movie. It's called Final Girls.
Oh, yeah. Tell me about this, because I've heard good things.
Yeah, so basically, my sister's read this book called Final Girls, and it turns out it's different than the movie, which I was expecting it to be an adaptation, but kind of the same premise. There's always the cliche horror movie. This is kind of based off of the Jason Voorhees story, of the camp and everything like that. And if you have sex, you die. It
Right.
just hits on all those cliches. These people get sucked into the movie, and they have to try and survive based on all their knowledge of the cliches and stuff. Like, the final virgin is the one who ends up killing the guy and stuff like that. There's actually a really surprising underlying emotional storyline in here about loss and accepting the loss of a family member, which I was not expecting the movie to get like that emotional or anything. The movie is funny, but it's also, I feel, kind of the potential, like such a cool, premise, because I've seen this done so well with movies like Cabin Fever or Tucker and Dale vs. Evil,
Right.
that this didn't live up to those. Acting's okay. It could have been better, but no, it's a fun.
But it's a
movie.
fun watch.
It's a fun watch. Yeah, I'd
Nice.
recommend it. Yeah.
I'm going to talk about something that is not a fun watch, but is really good.
Yeah.
I watched the first couple episodes of The Outsider on HBO.
I was gonna wait until next week for episode 3.
Yeah, I usually like to go with 3 episodes, but I'm in after 2. I don't even need that third to know that I'm so in on this show.
I'm so happy because me and Stephen King are best buds.
Yeah, gonna be honest, didn't even know this was a Stephen King thing.
Really?
Yeah, no. I apologize. I know I come off as ignorant a lot of times with this kind of stuff, but it's because I don't study up on stuff. I want to experience it, and then after the fact, a lot of times I'll go look at who it comes from, and it drives my wife crazy. I think she actually talked about this in the podcast last week.
Really?
Because I will say, hey, you want to go see this movie with me? And she'll be like, oh, what is it? And I'll be like, I literally don't know. Like I can't even tell you what it's about. I know one of the actors in it. I know what the title is. That's how I love to go into things. So I didn't even realize that this was Stephen King.
Yep.
But there is something genuinely fascinating going on in this show, and I cannot wait to see where it goes. I'm not going to spoil anything, but within the first 2 episodes, there are twists and turns to this story already that are blowing my mind. So have you read the source material? No. So tell me a little bit about, and again, without spoiling anything for anybody, but how is it, as far as this, are they changing things, or are they sticking pretty close?
No, it's pretty dead on so far.
Okay.
There is a supernatural element to it, which I want to be upfront about, because some people that can be a turnoff, because this does feel so much like a whodunit kind of crime drama.
Well, I was going to say the supernatural element. I mean, I'm only the first 2 episodes. It's not a major part of what's going on. As far as what they're emphasizing.
Yeah.
But you can look at it and go, okay, something is going on. You know there's something beyond what you're seeing.
Yeah.
But they're not making it feels very much just like a cop crime show.
Exactly. But I did want to be upfront for people who be like, oh, so this show is taking a turn for something I didn't expect,
Right.
I'm excited.
Which that's a good thing, usually, by the way.
But I'm right there with you. This feels so much like a true detective almost at the beginning,
Yeah.
Oh, Ben Mendelsohn is killing it, by the way. Oh, he's so good.
The scenes with Bateman and Mendelsohn are magic.
Yeah.
I mean, it is so compelling.
Yeah.
I've just been, man, HBO is killing it. I just they continue to produce such incredible content.
Yeah.
I'm blown away that show after show after show that HBO puts out is so good. And man, I was bummed because after Watchmen ended, I was like, oh, that was my show that I was looking forward to every week. What are they going to do? And now I
Here
feel
you
like,
go.
yay, maybe we've got another one that I can really dig into, because you're right. Mendelsohn is just captivating in this.
And he's also starting, I think tonight is the next episode, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Cynthia Erivo is
Yeah.
going to be joining the cast in the second lead role, and I'm excited because, man, ever since I first saw her in Bad Times at the El Royale, that was my Cynthia Erivo debut, I guess you could say, because
Yeah.
I never saw Hamilton.
And by the way, I don't know if it's a Revo or a Rivo. So.
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry.
No.
Yeah.
I'm not sure I'm right. I usually say a Revo. So if I'm wrong, I apologize. But
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, you're probably more right than I am. But I mean, she's great, and Ben Mendelsohn's great. I mean, and the story's awesome. And I'm glad that you say you liked it, because I wasn't sure if it was my, my Stephen King goggles that were just saying like.
No, I get it.
But when I was watching it, man, there's something fascinating going on here, and not just beyond my knowledge of the source material or anything. I'm like, please, I want people to see that this is actually good. So you saying that and you praising it this much, I'm like, oh, they're doing it. They're doing it right.
Yeah, I already have all sorts of predictions in my head of things that might be happening, and that to me is a sign of something that's really engaging, when your brain won't stop thinking about possibilities and why things are happening and what's going on.
I think this show, even though it's only 2 episodes in, is a perfect example on why some shows are best served week to week, as opposed to a purge, like a Netflix
binge.
purge, binge.
Yeah.
Where you get time to, question.
Well, you know me, I think all shows are better week to week.
Yeah.
So, I totally agree. I'm really interested to see when Netflix decides to do a week to week show. I think it's almost a given at this point that they will, because I think they've seen with some of their stuff they've dropped recently how quickly the conversation dies down about it, and they will see something like Watchmen where people are talking about it for 8 weeks in a row. You know what I mean? And it builds and it has this build. So yeah, I think they'll probably even Mandalorian, to watch Mandalorian kind of gain its feet in the fandom and everything. I think they'll look at that and go, oh yeah, humans do like patterns, and they do like space to talk about stuff.
And
so
they do like Baby Yodas.
And they do like Baby Yodas, but there's not much Netflix can do about that one.
Yeah.
So anyways, The Outsider is what it's called. It is on HBO on Sunday nights.
Yeah.
And I really, really liked it. Well, we did it, man.
Yeah, we did.
We casted our pods. Well done.
Take that, pod.
We speak pod language.
Yeah.
Thanks so much for joining us today for SiftPop. It is part of the Studio DNA Podcast Network. You can find out more about other shows on the network at studiodna.media or by searching Studio DNA in your podcast player. Huge thanks to Andrew for hanging out.
Thank you, buddy.
Huge thanks to Phil for producing the show.
Thanks, Phil.
And
We love you.
much love and gratitude to our SiftPop members as well for giving monthly to make SiftPop a real thing. Support starts at $3 a month, and you get access to every bonus episode, as well as some other fun perks, including a monthly video hangout, which, by the way, is happening this week. Find out more at patreon.com/SiftPop. Lots of ways to connect with the podcast. Feel free to comment, rate, or leave a review at iTunes. You can also email us at feedback@siftpop.com. And finally, if you're having a good time, your movie-loving friends will probably like the show too. So make sure you let them know about it, and that listening is much easier than passing a full set of bagpipes. We will be back next week with The Gentleman.
Ooh.
So we will see you then.
Bye.
All righty. My laptop died. How fun is that?
Oh, it did?
So I had to look up stuff in here, but I also can't see the YouTube chat. So I'm going to try to pull that up real quick in case people want to hang out a little bit. But thank you for hanging out with us either way. Let's see. Oh, here it is. Oscar nominations. I've got my phone turned down now, so it's not going to pop up. Let's see. Chesta says, wasn't Kang supporting? I'm not sure. I thought he was lead. Let's see. Seems like those kind of movies are always nominated for some reason. Probably talking about the documentaries. Kit Bull was really good. Totally agree, Scott. That's why I wanted to mention it.
I would put Kang Sun-ho as lead.
Yeah, I think so too. 1917 took the farewell spot for script. That's probably right. That's a good point. So yeah, let's see. Yeah, cool. Good stuff.
Nice.
Thanks for hanging out with us.
Yeah.
We appreciate you guys. We will be back. I think we'll be live again next week. We should be live the next couple weeks. For the foreseeable future, actually. Maybe right up until the Sposkers.
Sposkers.
So, and then of course Sposkers is on a Sunday, so we'll probably just kind of
transition.
Well, we may just figure that as part because I'm also screening all 9 Best Picture films the weekend of the Oscars. So we'll probably just figure out a way to make that the podcast for the week.
That'd be cool.
Because we're gonna have, I mean, it's 4 hours of material, right? Like we can release that in the podcast feed for sure.
Yeah.
Jay Bourgeois says you're probably right on Netflix. I'm perfectly content with however they want to deliver their shows. Just as happy taking Mandalorian week to week as I was binging Sex Education season 2. Chesta says if you guys can see Weathering with You, it's worth checking out. Same director as Your Name. Did you ever see Your Name?
Call Me by Your Name or just...
No. Your Name. It's an anime. It's really great. I'd highly recommend it if you haven't seen it.